Hey, Matthew.
What's up, bud?
Not too much. So, what are we doing today?
I'm excited doing a little podcast, actually, a little conversation, at least on screen this time.
Well, you know what? I think it all started like first of all, like you and me, we talk on the phone a lot. To those who don't know, Matthew owns UWrenchItAuto, which is an auto shop, and he does a lot of performance as well. I don't own a shop, but I'm a 034 motorsport dealer. I've been for the last 3 years plus, and I'm associated with a network of local shops here. So sometimes I love to call Matt and just ask him for some tips on repairs or modifications, and I think vice versa. We always got along, and he's a 034 motorsport dealer as well. So if you want to get tuned in his area, I think it's a nice place to go, because as much as people in enthusiast groups online see on Facebook, at least 75% of my clientele must be the same for you. When they come to the shop, they don't want to buy the cable. They don't want to, they're scared that it's going to break for some reason. All they want is to load the tune, go have fun. That's what they want, right?
Hmm.
Like the enthusiast groups make it seem like 100% of the people are daily racers, draggy on the way to work, but it's not the case, right?
There you go.
So, and you're at the shop right now, like you're working between Christmas and New Year's.
I am, yeah. I'm working New Year's Eve too, so yeah, stay busy. I
You-
have so much work to do.
are they paying you overtime?
Yeah, I don't know. I got to talk to the manager.
All right. Oh, me too. It's been quiet. Like at the shops, I think they're like we're kind of like reduced staff. It's only like emergencies and stuff like that. But tuning, just did one 2 days ago, so still going okay. And Matthew, like since I have you on the stream here, you have a project you've been working on, and you started talking about it a couple of months ago. It's quite interesting. It's different, and I think you should maybe talk about that because you'll get people curious, right?
Yeah, yeah. So I think I said something to you before it physically went public. So I personally have an A3 leader. The person who I am running in tandem with this kit with, his name is Marcus with GPS, German Performance Solutions. He has an S4 and manual drive, and me and him are really good friends too. We chat almost weekly, sometimes a few times a week. We came up with this idea. He had the idea a few years ago. I've always had, an idea to do this, but I wasn't 100% sure how to go about it. So we came up with this twin charged solution, knowing that other people have tried it before. We both like problem solving, so we took what people couldn't achieve to do it correct. I don't want to say the word correctly, but had some problems that they didn't want to deal with, or whatever the case was, and we kind of just problem solved those case by case. So we have a rear mount turbo that feeds into the the supercharger, and we're going to be, hopefully, if everything goes well, put out a kit around March time, 2024.
Nice. I'm just showing the folks here. You also have a Facebook group. It's called the Audi 3.0 T Nitrous and Twin Charge group. And I'm just trying to find pictures. There you go.
Yep, there you go.
This is your car, right?
That one is mine. Yep, yep.
Okay. I see nice piping and everything. It's like we initially said. If this is not your off the shelf type of 1 day install project there.
Yeah.
So, but you came with this idea, like you had a setup like this before, or?
No. So Marcus has a buddy of his. I can't remember what the kind of car it is, but he did a rear mount as well. I have installed a rear mount before on a Corvette, and I've always liked the idea. But me and Marcus was talking about it, and he was like, I don't really know what to do with the scavenging and the oil pump running it, and I'm not a really big fan of having oil lines underneath the car, especially that's tied to the block. You rip a line out by accident, and you just lost oil pressure in the engine and the turbo. So I had done a Supra install a few years back with Comp Turbo, which is an oilless turbo system. So it just uses a grease fitting, with a Zerx fitting on it. You pump it up every 3,000 miles, and she's good to go for another 3,000 miles. So again, with the problem solving, we had a couple of things that we had to iron out, and that's the system. So it's actually a lot more simplistic than it looks. it does look a little overwhelming at first glance, but when we produce the kit, it's going to be, bolts for the piping is going to be already there. So you just got to take things out, put things in, and it's going to be pretty seamless. We're going to try to make it to where a DIY type of person can install this.
No, that's cool. And I mean, I'm not bashing on anyone. I'm just playing devil's advocate. People sometimes mess up. They don't read the instructions on how to install a crank pulley on a 3.0 T. So uh, it's stuff
It's
that
true.
when they let off. Like sometimes I don't know about you, but as a dealer, sometimes me I just sell parts and they want to install them themselves, which is fine. But I'm like, guys, you gotta follow the instructions. Like it's something as simple as the appropriate torque level for these, because we see them sometimes on Facebook groups. Oh, that pulley sucks. Not necessarily. I think you just over torqued it, right?
Yep,
But they
exactly.
don't say that. They don't say that. They call me at 11 p.m. I'm stranded on the side of the road. I don't know what to do. But so yeah, well, it's a cool project. I think it's quite different, and I think it's amazing that like when you think about it, the first B8 I think in Europe came out in 2009, and these cars are, I mean, they're still going strong. Like the tuning, I think the pinnacle of the tuning came. What I like to call the golden age of the 3.0 T, like maybe 3-4 years ago with IE with 034, and I don't know, like everyone got into it back then, like with track world records and stuff like that. And even these days, I think we've all seen this year the new coming tuner Jacko Motorsport, and I think they're doing quite well. And it's cool. It's okay, like in the sense that like these cars are still being kept alive. You know what I mean? I don't know
Yep.
about you, but me, I still sell the B8 through the shops. The 034 Motorsport tunes are still selling well. There's the B9 this year. I went pretty hardcore at it. That was one of the things that, to be honest, I did not expect to reach the 9 seconds so quickly.
Yeah.
But it was fun. And when I explain it to clients, I always tell them like it's as much as I love my charger. You can't compare it to a stage 3 B9 because the way I try to dumb it down or generalize it for everyone to understand, we're all on the same page. Guys, you could go to Matt's shop, or you can come to one of the shops I'm affiliated with, and tomorrow morning you guys can buy a 2015 in good shape S4. We can FBO the car. We can full bolt on the car in 1 or 2 days. And I guarantee that if you go
You're
to that track
intense.
that weekend, you're not necessarily going to make tens. Whereas we'll do the same thing. Go get yourself a B9, B9 and a half, S4, S5, doesn't really matter. Come to us. That one will do it in one day, and then go to the track that weekend, and I guarantee you'll hit tens if you try more than one run. Because even with a shitty launch, you don't need driving skills. Like
Yeah.
it's that
It's
stupid
effortless.
powerful. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So the challenge was obviously, and I posted on my Instagram account like earlier this year when we installed that 810. We're aiming for nines, right? Like
Mhm.
tens is like you could have your kids on the back of if you're willing to, in Mexico
Yeah,
there.
cruise. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just, and we I think we've all seen. I think you're good friends with him. I'm not that close to him, but we've chatted once in a while. It was pleasant. David Muzienko, am I saying his name right?
Yeah. Yep.
I know he's doing good times also with his SQ5 there. Not a
Yep.
lot of people try with the SQ5. It's even heavier than the cars there. So that was fun to see. But besides that, I mean, I was expecting more because when we hit an actual track record back in May this year,
Hmm.
I was expecting this fall, boost season for people to go out there, and the B9 crowd has completely went silent.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
this summer, if you're part of that crowd,
Hmm.
uh, unfortunately right now it's the current trend is let's get scared and it's gonna blow up. And I'm gonna keep it. Maybe I could tell you the numbers off camera, off record, but you'd be surprised. Like there's not tens of thousands of stage 3 B9s in the world, right? Like they're
Hmm.
very limited, but for some reason, so that's why I think it's cool. And that's one of the reasons why I think you still see a lot of B8s, because with time and more experience, I think that collectively there you always have newcomers. People have more tricks or know how to mod them more properly or faster
Hmm.
what to do than the B9 crowd, which is for now a bit more mature because they're first or second owners, but they're not necessarily more knowledgeable on the platform.
Sure.
So it's just one of those. Do you do a lot of B9s?
Very, very small window. I'm a DIY shop, so everything is geared towards DIY. So the people that
Uh,
come in for 034, I'll flash, but they want to install their own 034 parts. So my kind of niche is a little different than what you would have, like people drop off. So the B9s that do come in, they're on the. I'm not touching the cars. I'm more into the B8s and the B8 and a halves, the
and how
D4s, the C7s.
it's a rare one because obviously I think in Europe on some of the German groups I'm part of, I see guys with A8s 3.0 Ts, but they're I think it's more rare to find an A8 with a 3.0 T than a 4.0 T, right? Like, is it me
Yes,
or
yes.
so it's just one of the what made you go for the 3.0 T at first versus the more common 4.0?
Yeah. When I was in the market looking for the cars, it was actually my first newer Audi. I had a B6 before, but I really wanted the 3 liter because of reliability. Yeah. So the reason why I ended up getting the 3.0 over the 4 liter was really reliability issues.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, same thing here. I mean, like me, I started my adventure or my journey. I like to call it a journey with the 3.0 started back in the days, I think late 2017, early 2018. And back in the days, like I just wanted, like most people, just a stage one. I was on a very, very bad tune there, but I was happy. And then in 2019, everyone was really into, I don't know why, IE was really like the top tuner, I guess, back then. And IE was really the tuning that everyone was talking about. So about the tunes, and I had fun with that. Performance. I had technical issues on my car, and I don't want to blame the tuner necessarily. These guys have always been super helpful. Like, to be honest, like I enjoyed talking to them. They were quick on responses, and they sent me sort of like maps to try to fix. And I was sure it was my car, but then after that, COVID happened, and some of the OGs, Matt Tremblay, Brian Cockle, and Rod, everyone was using 034 as well. So I'm like, it's COVID. Or it's the only isolation thing that I can do, right? Stepping out of the house, staying by myself in my car. So I just went, and there's just features about the tune that I just personally like more. So and then there was no looking back. The R7 files, I did a bit of testing on those, and but after that, like the files that we have now have been always optimized, but it was the real current tunes that we have now. So
Hmm.
the beat I really liked. I like tracking it. It was fun, and that's how I became a dealer because all I did is like I didn't bash it and do nothing. Like Facebook group style. All I did was show up to my local track, and those Unitronic guys, because they're local to me. They're 20 minutes away from me. They're HQ. Like they just came to me and they're just like, I can't believe the times you're doing. And we kind of like all have the same cars with the same mods, right? When
Right.
it's a standard setup. So it was just that's how we started. And then I became a dealer, and ever since then, that 3.0 has been something I love, something that sells well in terms of tuning and modding. There's no more secrets on a 3.0 T. I think like you there for us there.
Yeah.
So and the B9, like as much as I think it's stupid crazy power, like stage three, it's not something that you know. After we hit 9.8 in May, we were super motivated to let's see how lower we can get, and then 2 weeks later it just dropped there. Kind of like my current C7. The objective was just to get into the tens, and like when I make those stories or whenever I make those posts on Instagram, those glory runs, negative DA about hitting tens and everything, they're valid, but they don't mean much to me personally. I
Hmm.
believe drag racing is a sport, and in accordance to the sport was always done on NHRA tracks. Kind of like
Yep.
it's like
Yep.
Matt. If I told you, oh, my uncle was a great hockey player. Oh, really? What team did he play in? Oh, he played for a team in South Africa. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
he can still be a professional, but unless you play in HL, it doesn't really mean much to a lot of people, right? So, and I know drag racing on street cars is different, but
Yeah. It
I
is.
try. I'm a literal type of guy, so I try to go according to how it's always been. Because otherwise, it's all these new categories that to me don't make sense. But it's okay, to each their own.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it. And now that the C7 is in the tens like consistently, whether it's draggies or on track, like it's kind of boring. There's no more challenge for it. Of course, you could bring it, as so many of my followers on Instagram suggest, lower, but you need the push, the motivation to do it. I don't. When I make those little draggy runs for fun, picking up my cell phone, vaping, or you realize all the hard work has been done prior to that. So I just show up, and if the car is good, and you're consistent for your launch, everything, and you'll always achieve consistent good results there. You know what I mean? But they don't
Yeah.
see that, the amount of
They
the
don't see the hard
hours.
work.
Yeah, they don't see the fine tuning, the optimization. Every time you put something on the car, like for example, like it happens to you, I'm sure, on a daily. Well, me, it happens to me on a weekly basis. I'm sure you as well. Oh, I have a throttle body on the car. Okay, I have a throttle body on my car too, but I really, really sort of fine tuned it. How? Well, it's pretty simple. My adapter, I made it so that it's perfectly smooth with the throttle body,
Yeah.
and the entrance of my
No,
supercharger, I opened
no
it.
restriction.
Which,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's not a full port, but it's kind of like I guess, a baby port. I don't know the exact nomenclature, just to make sure that I'm not gonna artificially create more boost by installing bigger pulleys, but
Hmm.
I do generate more boost by letting it breathe as best as it can, right? With an optimized like intake as well. So that's all that, and I kind of like your project. It, especially in the stage where you're at right now, you're fine tuning everything. You're still creating, I guess, more parts or supporting mods. And now, if you're not already into the tuning of it, it's a process. And most people, they just want to slap it on and magically hit 10. So unfortunately, that's not going to happen. Go buy yourself a Tesla Plate. You'll even hit nines magically like that. But with these cars, but it's fun, and especially like yours, the A8 or a C7. I find these cars age so well if you're into the appearance of the vehicle. Like it's very sleeper. I never get looked at on the road except
Yeah.
from Volkswagen. I don't know why. Maybe the proximity to Unitronics is the only cars that want to race me in the summertime on the highway are Volkswagens. I don't know why. It's always
Yeah.
friendly. We smile and we do it, but
Yeah.
the BMW crowd, that I don't know if you do a lot of you have customers with BMWs.
Yeah. I got a couple of guys with the 58s that come in here and the N55s.
Okay, and the new M's, they're crazy stupid fast. Like it's not
Oh yeah,
even the
they're
same level as.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I've got a
I,
guy that's got an M3 competition that comes in here,
oh
and
yeah,
he
yeah.
actually wants me to do a 4 liter swap in his. He's got an S4 as well, and that thing is nasty. That's like my whole goal. Just go out there with the A8 that weighs 4,400 pounds and just start slaughtering these BMWs. That's my
Oh,
goal.
it's your personal car, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's my personal car.
Yeah, but no, it's a business car, but it's a car that you drive. It's a daily, right?
It's not going to be now. I also have a Q5,
Yeah.
so,
Okay.
so I'm
No,
not
because
going to daily it every day now. But yeah,
you're a big guy, so I'm like, it's
yeah,
normal that me in an A8, it would just be like, I
overwhelming.
feel, yeah, I feel more comfortable if I chauffeured people around than just driving it
Yeah.
like that. It's kind of like, it's a guy I appreciate, and I think you're close to him. His name is Fred Zimmer.
Mm-hmm. Fred. Yeah.
I had no idea until someone told me, because we were just talking about people who are enthusiasts on groups and stuff like that. I had no idea that guy was close to like 7 feet tall. So
Yeah,
I'm
he's
just
big.
like,
He's a big guy.
yeah, yeah, but I'm just like, okay, he's like 7 feet tall, so I just presume that the weight goes with it, right? To be,
Mm-hmm.
and he drives a Q5 and SQ5,
That's
and
Q5.
the guy still manages to hit tens. It's like, those are the guys. I'm just like, what, if I was wearing a hat, hats off to you. Or it's kind of
Yeah.
like our buddies. They're kind of quiet, but they've been in the game for a long time. Josh Marshall and Brian Cockell. These
Mm-hmm.
guys, you never hear them complaining about stuff, but these guys
Mm-hmm.
in the summertime or early fall, when because their track closes like stupid early, like
Yeah, it does.
the start of
Yeah,
October.
I
No,
was
but
gonna say
these
like
guys,
May.
yeah, but you never hear them complaining. But these guys, they run 10 seconds and like at freaking 5,000 plus DA. Like it's incredible
Yeah,
how, again, fine, the fine tuning like that these guys had to do to just achieve like not
what we
normal.
can do easy
Yeah,
over here.
exactly, sort
Yeah,
of. You know what I mean? And even there,
yeah,
it's not that easy. You don't see that many in the tens.
in
I
the
think
tens. Sure.
it takes work. It takes work. It takes dedication. So of course, like anything that's marketing, whenever you post or I post my stuff, like yeah, for sure, we post our best runs, but you'll never find a client of mine that automatically I told them go 034, you'll hit tens, go buy this or buy that. I always take the time to explain to them this is an example of a car that's very fine tuned and prime condition, and how what technically what it can do doesn't necessarily mean you can do it, right? Like in any sport, you can go buy. Who's your? I don't, are you into hockey or not really?
No, I'm not into hockey.
I'm in Canada, so that's all we have. Sorry there,
Yeah,
but
had a bad story with a hockey guy before, so I never looked back.
no, but no, but it's I see it as a parallel, but that's very that's very like similar. Like I can go out there, I can go buy Wayne Gretzky's stick, skates, and everything. You think I'm gonna have a slap shop as good as him, even if I played
Right,
hockey at a decent level my whole life? Of course not. But I think with cars, it's cool. It's a hobbyist thing, but like any hobbyist community, like there's a lot of intensity, sometimes good and sometimes bad, right? So
sure, sure.
it's just one of these things. So tales from the tuning shops. Do you have any funny stories of stuff that happened to you, maybe this year, or clients or anecdotes?
No, no, I don't really have many. Like I said, we do. I mean, other than the performance aspect of what I do, the shop's like a DIY. So, in terms of like funny, I wouldn't say anything like really funny. Um, yeah, I don't really have anything. I mean, they're a really good group of people that come in here. So, actually, I've got like a seven, eight of us that are like all just Audi guys, and one when I take this thing to the track, we're all gonna like make a day of it. So,
so I
it's a nice community.
so I assume when all these guys come in at the same time in your shop, you don't get a lot of work done that day, right?
Yeah, it's almost got to put like a a poster up and say, "Hey, don't bother me." Yeah, because we'll just chat and chat and chat. I was on the phone when a customer called me up with he's like 2 hours away, past Philly, and we just started talking about he's got his S5 here, his JHL supercharged S5 here. We were just
Nice.
literally talking for 50 minutes, just shooting the shit. So yeah, I'm sure you see the same thing.
All the time. I mean, and it's okay. I'm used to it, and they come, and for them, it's like they're so happy because, of course, they all have their friends who are maybe car guys as well. But the ones who, they want to talk to you, they want to talk to me because we're their tuners, right? We take care, and we're their mechanics. We take care of their cars. So sometimes they arrive at the shop and they bring you coffee. It's sweet, but they're so excited, and then half an hour has gone by. And like you got to let some of my guys start there because otherwise it's not gonna finish. And there's also like any hobbyist, like we all have different budgets, but every single month there's some guys. Hey, Jam, I'm like, yeah, let me guess. What do you want to add on the car this month? How much you have to spend this month? Like, and it's okay. I mean, they can spend their hard-earned money wherever they want because if it wasn't on the car, I guess it would be on something else, right? They're just hobbyists. So, but it's crazy to me. Like some of these cars, like, and they post like I see my customers. I always remain professional, but they don't post about like how fast the car is, stuff like that. They just post their whole grocery list, and it's like I could feed like 20 people with the amount of stuff on there. So
You know,
but I think that at the end of the day, like this, contrary to you, like this is not my main source of revenue. I always did it from a passion standpoint. I'm just very yeah. I'm just very literal. I'm just it's not very humble to say knowledgeable, but I like factual data and leave aside the speculation. And I like to test stuff. Once again, that's why with my C7 right now, I enjoy the car. I modded it, but not really because I don't have the work to put in anymore. I don't have anything to test with it. I don't. So maybe hey, your kid is something purely for, it could be a reason as simple as exhaust. Like this summer, I don't know if you saw my on
I
Instagram. I
did.
kept posting progress. It
Yeah,
cost a fortune. Like the girlfriend was like, "What a waste of money! Like we could have went like first class around the world." So I'm like, "Yeah, but we're all going to go electric soon. And, fortunately, unfortunately, depending on how you view things. And To me, ever since I'm young, like cars, I need that exhaust, and I value it. It's like on the top of my list, and I added
Mhm.
weight to the car. Like it's so heavy, like 3.5, like quality stainless, not some cheap,
Yep. Yep.
pipe in there. So I actually added weight to the car, but it was all worth it because now every time I fire it up, I don't really drive anymore. I've got a company car as well. Every time I fire
Mhm.
it up and I just go for a little ride or those draggy glory runs, like I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. So, and
Yeah.
just with your kit, like I never heard it. Like guys, like folks like Matt never revved it for me, but I assume that the sound is completely different from a standard 3.0. No.
Yeah, we're gonna be sending some reels out soon about what the sound is. It's a symphony. Personally, like this is what I do. I love cars, so to
Yeah.
be able to hear the supercharger whine, it's ported. And, I've got this pulley ratio of 3.45, so it screams. Then that shuts off, and the turbo starts rolling, and it's a rear mount, right? So it's really close to the road, and it echoes underneath the car. It just makes it so much louder. Technically, I also have a T51R mod as well on the turbo, so it's even louder. So to hear both of these notes, different power adders at the same time, making this noise, it's I love it. It's probably the best thing about the car.
Matt, I get questions just from your kit, like in the private streams that I do for the 3.0 T guys on the first V8 when a guy asked, actually, he doesn't know you, but I guess he heard about your kit and he told me, like, JM, like, what's the point of a twin screw, sort of a twin charge setup? I told him, well, listen, in a nutshell, and this is like the two, a very like headline sort of thing.
Hmm.
Imagine being able to have the instant torque of your supercharger down low.
Hmm.
That's going to be accomplished, let's say, for example, I don't know if I'm right, but like with a high pulley ratio, but then mid band to upper band, then a turbo takes over. And I think that he understood. So I don't know if my simple explanation is okay, or if you want to go more into it.
Yeah, no, I mean, simply put, it's a linear power band from start to finish. Where I don't the cons of having a turbo, right, is you have turbo lag, especially in a rear mount where
Yeah,
these
yeah,
things really get it's got all this pipe to travel this boost through. So to have turbo lag, you have the power of the engine, the exhaust gases starting to get that turbo kicking up, and then boom, all of a sudden you get all the torque, heavy on the rides, but you get this explosiveness of power. Whereas the twin charge setup, you fill in that void of that turbo lag and have instant power right off rip. So I'm going to be running a really high pulley ratio, like a 366. I'm going to do like a 209 with a 57 because it shuts off early RPM. So all that heat generated is gone. I don't have to worry about that anymore. And then I have more efficiency with that turbo on the back end. So it isn't everybody's cup of tea.
for sure, for
The,
sure.
the superchargers that are coming out, Merc Racing's coming out with Jose, a good guy
Yeah,
of mine, a good friend of mine. It's super simplistic. I get the buy there. Like, here's more power. It's something that I can mod and do myself. I feel comfortable doing. 034 is backing it, so punch in a couple of things in your laptop, and you got the tune. So it's a lot more simplistic, but I want a linear. I don't want the car to dip down. I also love the explosiveness of the turbo. It's way more efficient, and I just personally also run nitrous too. So, I got this whole overwhelming power adders going all over the place. So, but it's not
no,
everybody's cup of tea.
no, for sure. There's such a thing. Oh, nitrous is cheating. Not really, because nitrous. Well, look. Let me put it back into context. Jam, should I do nitrous? It's something I get every month. At least a random guy will come to me through Instagram. Should I put nitrous? Uh, well, you can. It's just how are you gonna do it? It's kind of
Yeah,
like water meth. Like I
exactly.
I with my more, let's say, for lack of better words, refined setup. A couple of guys went at it and they failed because it's just they don't operate it correctly, and that's why, like, when I did the installs, like I've done at least like 8 to 9 cars there locally. I'm okay because I install it. I take the time to explain to them. It's been well done and how to operate. But remotely, it's one of the things that I get asked a lot, and I'm always hesitant now to tell them because the way I install it, you install it, and he installs it is going to be completely different. And out of the three of us, like I know we're going to do it okay, but he's not. And sometimes they even go to their shops and these guys have never installed one before. It shows. So it's just like, if anything, you're creating a hindrance. And that particular, I have a particular client in mind. Well, they did, even you said the install was okay. I'm like, well, the main, most of it was okay, but the thing is that right now you're running so rich that between your shifts,
Yeah.
your lambda falls to zero point 0.6. I'm not gonna get super technical in this one like I do in my private streams, but it's like a boat just dropping an anchor during shift. Like, if
Yep.
anything, you're just slower and you're just running so freaking rich that it's uh it's a standalone, kind of like your nitrous. It's a standalone module, and it's kind of tricky with these ECUs where everything is closed loop. There are fueling, coolant, air. That obviously you want to know what you're doing. I think you have no worries running nitrous, but for most people, it's something that, yeah, go. Hey, you know what, guys? Go ask Matthew. Go talk to Matthew about it. Maybe, I don't know. Do you do sometimes, like, there's guys like not necessarily local to you that come to you with questions? Can you help me out set up my stuff?
Daily, daily,
Okay.
every day, and
But
I do
how
my
do you
best to
deal
try to
with
like funnel
them?
through.
Yeah, but how do you deal with like remote customers? You because
But
like,
yeah,
let's say I'm in
it's
California and I'm like, hey, listen, I'm willing to pay you. I want to install nitrous or whatever, whichever one of your vids that you provided. I watched the video. I don't necessarily understand. Could you help me? Like, how would you do it?
yeah. So I've gotten on FaceTime before, or
Okay.
Facebook Messenger. Usually DMs works, but all levels of communication I try to absorb. Obviously, I can't be there in real time, so any way that I can try to help, with that process, I'm going to do. Um, and I get DMs daily, 7, 8, 9 times a day, and I try my best to, you get the ones that are almost there. You get the ones that have no idea, and then it's also pretty cool that you get to develop relationships with people over the long term. I have a guy that had reached out to me probably 9, 10 months ago, probably shortly after I dropped my YouTube video of the nitrous install, and he was like, "Man, I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't without you. Like, this is incredible." And he started like playing around with nitrous, and now we pretty much talk weekly now. So it's also, I do it for the community. I'm not here to like make money off the guy in California. That's not what I really care about. But but also in retrospect, I don't want to be taking off
Yeah,
a
yeah.
job that I'm doing for 2 hours either. So it's tough to manage, but I do my best.
Well, it's kind of like what we were discussing at first, that fine line between trying to be nice with everyone. I try to be too, but sometimes for sure, I'm a human being, and maybe I got overwhelmed that day with like 30 messages. It has happened there. I'm not
Hmm.
exaggerating. So maybe you
Hmm.
come to me and you're just like, I'm not disrespectful. I'm not impolite, I think, but I'm like, hey, listen, I'm not 034 customer service. I'm sorry, but it's not the way it works. I'm happy though when, oh, I thought you worked from 034. I'm happy when ironically when someone tells me that, because it shows the level of dedication I have there. Like,
Right.
if
Right.
I'm gonna do it, into it, and once again, it's not my main source of that, but they if I'm gonna do it something, might as well do it right. And yeah, for sure. I think like you, me neither. It's the most rewarding thing is just when customers leave, especially the you could be, it doesn't matter what stage you are. You could be stage one, and when you do me, I always drive. I don't let them drive because I don't want them to mess up the launcher. When you do the first launch control, and sometimes they don't have reactions, but most of them are like, holy shit, I can't believe this is my car now. And manual, the 6 speeds, I love them. I don't have a lot of customers, but every time I do get one, I tell them what's kind of not necessarily sad, but it's just the way it is on those B8s. Like, the clutches are expensive, like from the factory there. And aftermarket, it's like you might as well because it's stronger. But
Yeah.
I had an MK2 TTRS like last summer. A clutch is like well, at least in Canadian here, it's like $800. So it's like nothing, right? So an OEM clutch there. So, and it's easy to
Hmm.
replace. You can do it versus like here, if you go to like a local Audi dealer and you don't have like special pricing or whatever for an OEM complete clutch replacement, I think they're gonna charge you up to 4K. So, and
Yep.
that's not
Yep.
including labor, just in
Yep.
parts. So it's
Yep.
they're kind of expensive. Like, what your partner there, Mark, just what is, out of curiosity, what does he run clutch wise, transmission wise on his car?
Yeah, he runs a manual. I'm not exactly sure. I think he's running stock trans, and just a stock clutch. That's kind of like what we're going to be making sure. Each transmission has a different a different bracket that he's gonna have to cat up and try to formulate a plan for these different setups. But testing the limits is really gonna be what I'm super excited about. I have the stock motor in my car, and I finally get to see what this thing can. I want to bend the rod. I want to be able to see, because nobody really knows the real limit, because we've always been limited with this fueling issue that's plagued us for a year and a half. I'm excited to see what the motor can withstand, and I'm excited to see what the manual. I think the weakest link is going to be the DSGs, because I know stage 2 cars that are running E40, and it's too much for these packs. So the ZF8s will be okay, I'm pretty sure, but I plan on hitting 1,000 horse, so we'll see how hard this ZF8 can handle.
The way I see you is like I put you in the same bracket as Oleg. It's a nice car, but the guy knows what he's doing. When customers come to me, hey, this guy Oleg swapped a 4 point. Yeah, but did you take 2 seconds, go on his YouTube page, whatever? The guy takes out by himself in his home garage his mechatronics unit to clean it, for Christ's sakes. You're not at that level. Jay Bullington, oh, you saw Jay's car? Jay's on another level as well, like in the sense that all this the custom parts he does is he has his own brand JXB, and now I ever since you started talking about your twin charge, oh yeah, but this guy he puts it, but he knows what he's doing, like just normal maintenance. Like we had this discussion because we talk all the time, and that's why I thought it would have been cool just to get us both on a stream and just talk like we just normally talk. But there's a guy who's like, how much for a timing change at one of your shops? And I gave him like, I have to go all data. I'm sorry there, but my partners, that's what they want. But I'm like, listen, if you go to a shop that has done a lot of frequent OTs, they can knock that time down if they like you. And then I don't know how you appeared in the conversation. The guy's local to me, and I'm like, well, apparently this guy Matthew says, Jan, that I can bring the car in the morning, and it could be done. It could be done by late afternoon. And I'm like, well, if Matthew said that, I wouldn't doubt him. Like in the sense that he told me many times, like those timing chains, I've done them a lot there, and I can do them in one day basically. Don't bring it at 1 p.m. there or 11 a.m. Bring it at 8 in the morning, and it's going to be done maybe at 5, 6. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's a long day, but it can be done if I'm highly motivated. I could drop the motor and trans out of one of these cars in an hour and a half, hour and 50 minutes. But, if I'm motivated to do it all in one day, but I don't want to do that kind of job, in an 8-hour period.
Test pipes, it's something that we do a lot on 3.0 Ts. Like, do you pull down the transmission, or you just, unless you don't want to reveal your tricks, because it depends on the transmission. Manual, we don't care. It's we know the tricks. DSGs, sometimes I tilt them, and once we had to drop the engine because the car was so rusted that it was a bit more time, but we're like, with the headache that we're going to avoid, we're just going to drop the damn thing and just do them like in parts. And we told the customer, and the customer was happy. Since we have it down, you want us to do anything else at the same time, like maintenance wise? Just something as it's not like impossible, but just your alternator, we see that it has a bit of water for some reason, and it looks kind of old. We can do it. It takes 2 seconds right now. If we put it back, we're gonna have to charge you the full all data pricing. So
the DSGs, I do test pipes. They're a lot more challenging than the ZF8s in the car. But if it's a header, you can still do like a long tube header setup in the car. But for me,
you do them on the car.
You can. Yeah, you can.
No, I know you can, but you do them on the car.
No. Okay. No. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, if it's a test pipe, or sorry, if it's a long tube header, that motor's coming out. It's just faster for me. Yeah.
No, that's true. I was like, how in the world? Well, yeah, it's okay. Hey, sometimes we do stuff that you find tricks. I think with anything, if you're good to start with, but just by repetition, it's like anything, you just become better at it. It's like these guys jam. How do I get a better 60-foot? Stop buying parts. Go find an empty road that's safe. Practice.
Work on that skill set.
Please don't do 10 in a row. Just take your time. Try to come up with your own strategy. And it's just one of these things. Should I go buy slicks? Well, yeah, of course you can, but you don't need slicks to go hit a 1.6 DSG
Yeah.
or ZFA. There, we can do it with like normal street tires and manual cars. It's well, manual. I have less experience with manual cars. I've seen really great ones do amazing stuff, but
Yeah.
it's even harder. I mean, for sure, it's
It
harder.
is.
For sure, for sure. The way I see them, and people are maybe gonna get mad, but I'm sorry, it's just the truth. Manual is the hardest thing. You've got to launch, and then after you got to shift. No money shift, eh? After
Right.
that, it's DSG because it's with the way those transmissions are designed, it's sort of like dumping the clutch. So the reaction time, if you're trying to get that momentum to take off, is
Hmm.
catchy. Like, and
Hmm.
ZF8, I think is the easiest of the bunch because you, no matter what tune you're running or no matter what you do, you always have that small delay that allows you to like get on throttle properly. If that makes sense.
Yep.
So it's what I told those ZF8 guys now that I'm in a C7. We have it good, like compared to, like, I wasn't the best, but I wasn't Matt Tremblay or Brian Cockhill, like those 1.5 1.4 crazy 60 foots on the DSGs, but like I was pretty decent. I get 1.6s. I didn't get 10 in a row though. With the ZF8, I'm pretty confident. Okay, maybe not 10. I'll get 8 or 9 in a row. With the DSG, I'll mess up a couple when they're on 10 passes kind of thing.
Right.
It's tricky, but it's part of the game. We're chasing, again, like, you got to put it back into perspective. We're chasing hundreds or tenths of a second. Like,
Hmm.
it all comes down to the little tricks. And why am I talking about this? Well, I don't know. We're talking about customers, and sometimes, like, I'm just trying to be honest. Like, if it's a passion for you, go ahead. We can put all the parts you want. You're the boss, you're the client. But if you're if you're the type of client that's just looking for an occasional draggy run or even track, and you actually take it seriously, you don't need to spend, like, you don't need to buy the entire catalog of whatever your favorite brand is. It comes down
Yep.
more to the driver, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's just one of these things. But once again, 75% of the clients, they just want a bit more. And I always ask them, I don't know how you approach when your clients when it comes to sales, but me, I always ask them first thing, what are you going to do with the car? And they're always perplexed. What do you mean? Are you going to, is it because you're a weekend racer, you're a street
Right.
racer? I have those guys, they street race, they don't care about the slits all day, but they send me private messages on Instagram with the money pots that they won that weekend against whatever
I do
muscle car
too.
that they smoked.
Yeah.
And there's also the guys that, what are you going to do? Are you the type who works a 9 to 5 and at 5:30 want to take an exit faster than the mother in the minivan, the soccer van next to you? Like, what do you want? And
Yep.
most of them, it's just, oh, I just want to scare the shit out of my girlfriend if she's on her phone all the time in the car at a red light. So it's one of these things. But at least I'm happy, when they come to us. I try to treat them well, always be available. And obviously I love my crowd who's more into performance, with constant, even the remote ones, with data logging, with
Hmm.
a professional sort of accurate
Yep.
analysis,
Yep.
especially with the Trophy 4 Motorsport data logger, which is very, very good in terms of
Very
capture rate,
smooth.
in terms of
Yep.
variable. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't break down.
Yep.
There's a lot that we can see from the logs, right?
The PIDs. Yep.
Actually, the
Yep.
private live streams that I do, uh, 3/4 of them, we deep down. It's kind of like Star Wars Episode 4. There's no intro. We're right down in the middle of the action, and we go
Deep
right at it.
dive.
And
Let's go.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
There's no beginning. Like George Lucas, we like to start in the middle of the action, and we just go. I explain variable per variable and how to come up with a proper analysis, and not speculate that only this variable matters or that all works together.
Yeah.
And this sentence that I came up with recently that I like a lot is x plus y equals z. X plus x can equal z, but sometimes the y is useful. It's there for a reason. I'm not saying your x, yeah, but jam, my x plus x equals z also. That's fine. But once again, the y is there because I don't know if, when we translate the cars for health purposes, for safety purposes, So that's a quick little analogy I like to do.
Yeah.
I like to do these things. I'm not trying to annoy people, but I just like it when I'm capable of making customers understand. It's
Hmm.
like, who are your best teachers, like in high school and university? Like, they were the ones that were passionate about
Took
their
the
thing,
time.
and yeah,
Yep.
took the time to really make sure you understood the subject at hand, right?
Right. Right.
So yeah, but hey, Matt, we said that we didn't have a necessarily a scheduled time frame, but I think we said we were going to do approximately maybe 45 minutes to an hour, so we're reaching that mark. Oh, by the way, yes, this stream is sponsored by Prime. For me in Canada, they just penetrated the market. One of my good friends works corporate, and he supplied us with a bunch of, as you can see, a bunch of these drinks. So I just wanted to give him a quick shout out and thank him for sponsoring the stream. And on that note, I don't know if you wanted to add anything, you wanted to say something as
No,
an end.
no, I have a lot to say, but we'll save it for for the next episode or so.
Oh, I don't mind. I mean, look, we talk on the phone all the time, so next time we can do another one. And I know that your kid is not slowly but surely, but like yeah, steadily but surely coming along. So I think it will be nice for the people just to we can maybe do another one once you release it or something like that. And
Okay. Yep. Sounds good.
always nice talking to you, my friend.
All right, man. Always a pleasure.
All right, bye,
Later.
bye.